Okay, so we are back in it. We are about to jump into week 14. Holy cow. I have lost total track of, of where we are. But we're in week 14. We have the number one scoring offense, the number three passing offense, number five rushing offense, and the number one rushing defense. Okay? And you can see we're about to face the Bears and they're middle of the pack, everything. Um, we will say that points, we are in 12th. We've actually moved up to 12th. But our pass defense still needs work, needs work majorly. So we just completed training. Let's go ahead and upgrade a couple of players, or one, or three. Hey, so Trayvon, we are going to upgrade you. He has been on a bit of a tear of late, which is awesome. And we saw, I don't know if you guys saw, but this is after opening weekend. I still don't know the outcome of Monday night's football game. So I have to eventually get caught up there. Um, but we saw Trayvon back and get his very first um, interception of the season in his very first game back since tearing his ACL. So that's a bonus. We saw Micah be the Micah that we want him to be right here. And so that was very interesting, right? So, yeah, we are still trying to figure those things out. We got our storylines real quick here. Let's see what's going on. All right, we need to shift our focus to the Bears. We what do we find through film study? Their defense has an advantage against our their offense, our D overall. Good to know. Well, of course, they have a superstar X Factor quarterback, and we have the bottom ranked pass defense in the league. There's definitely going to be some issues there. Let's talk about the Bears. Coach, in film study this morning, we talked about how their offense could cause problems. What's the plan to deal with that? Um, I don't catch all of it, so our DNs need to get off blocks. All right, here we go. Our linebackers need to have great support. That's true of every game, no matter what. We'll focus on that all week. Okay, do that. Your starting linebackers will receive +5 boost to pursuit and -5 for block shedding in the next game. Okay, great. It's like, why even do that, right? It's like, if you're going to penalize, well, I guess you can't have one advantage without a penalty the other way. But it's like, well, then just leave it. Well, I'm kind of a proponent of leaving it the same both ways. And then that update did not fix this issue for sure. Yeah, we just got a Madden update, but I think that was more to give us the week one ability to start a franchise from week one. You don't, I can't even tell you how many franchises I've started based on that. I love that feature, right? I wish they would just do it every week instead of just periodically, right? I think in 24, you could do it the first week and then you can't do it again until week 10. And it's like, well, what if I wanted to pick up at week 5? So, you know, and it's kind of like, here, let's pick up a team, right, in week 5 that's 0 and 5 and see if we can turn them around. What a great scenario. What an awesome scenario. But you can't do that. All right. We still got 7 players ready to negotiate, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We are going to jump into the game. It's been a few days, several days actually, since I've played last. Um, all right, let's play the full game. I'm trying to remember exactly how I do this. Hold on a sec. Oh, wait, we were right where we want to, but we're going to. Whoa. this one. And then we're going to take the Bears with my favorite uniform of theirs. That one. Eight interceptions.
Who comes into this game at 43 tackles so far this season. It's the Cowboys and the Bears, and it's all up next.
All right, so 11-1 Cowboys. We're on a streak too, 11 straight games. Um, this is game 13. Let's get this started. All right, next quarter. All right. So who thought Aubrey should have? They should have brought Aubrey in to try the 71-yarder. Part of me was like, do it. But then I'm like, what if he pulls a hamstring, right? You know what I mean? Pulls a ham, he tried to kick it that far. I mean, granted, the 66-yarder I think would have been good from 71, but it's like, um, but yeah, that was on the refs. They screwed up on that, but it is what it is. It's not like the Cowboys needed it.
Here on EA Sports. Now return coming from the 7th.
Mm.
He'll be brought down just beyond the 25-yard line.
All right, let's see. All right, so we're gonna play the moment, and then let's check our stats right now because we are down 3-7. So something ain't right. Well, something's not happening. Okay, 5 first downs to 9. So they almost doubled us up there. They almost doubled us up on total offense. So we're not really slowing them down. They're just holding us in check, right? 66 yards rushing on 17 carries. That's a lot. 4 of 9 passing, really? Compared to 17 to 24. And they have a touchdown. Don't see any turnovers. I still see that we got 49 punts to their 48. All right, so Rome Dunze. Rome, yeah. All right. What a passer rating. What a passer rating. All right, so we got to fix that. Problem is, we know for a fact that we're not going to be able to run right now. Why? Because you just can't run in Madden. Well, I guess some people can run in Madden. I, on the other hand, have not found success running in Madden. Seriously, we got one completion to each of those 4 players. All right, so somebody has a sack, which is very promising. TFLs. So Mozzie has a sack, no TFL though. And let's go. Parsons has a sack, yes, and Osa. So the 3 sacks, we have 3 sacks, really? Whoa. All right. So our line is at least getting some pressure. Granted, one play we're getting pressure, and then probably another play we're giving up a lot. All right, let's whoa. And yes, I forgot to set the goals again for this game. I am a freaking idiot. Seriously, it is a very annoying fact when I sit here and I go, you didn't set the goals for this game. And I realize that it happens 9 out of every 10 games. So it's not okay. Let's see. That's right. That's right. Nope, we're gonna leave Clark in to do some damage. All right. Okay, so we know that right now, based on IRL, Dak and Lamb are long term, right? Well, Dak's at least the next 4 years. So Dak and Lamb are long term. So that kind of makes this one kind of a little bit, I want to say almost null and void because it's like, okay, what can you do? Um, we didn't re-sign him because we didn't have everything that you face IRL. All right, let's see what happens here. IRL, if the Cowboys did not resign Dak, they had close to a $50 million cap hit on him next year anyway. So whether they re-signed him or not, they still would be paying. He would still be counting against the cap next season anyway. So he finally caught one in traffic, and yes, I didn't mean to hit the button, but I did, and it was like a reflex. So it just lofted up in the air to him. I'm just glad he came down with it. All right, Fergie. We got Fergie's got 3 catches now. You said it. You said it. Just need somebody to make a play, man. Make a play. All right. Just like that. Uh-oh, it's stuck. Uh, did he using Stickum? Did they bring back Stickum? That was all right. Let's see what we got. Go on. Let's see what the defense can do now. Now, what we're doing is we're looking for we want Micah and Diggs to shine here. I don't know if I should go in there and try to. The thing is, I don't trust the game plan settings when I go in. I'll change them and it works for one series. And it's like I'm not going to keep going in every single series, you know. But then it really comes down to, well, how much does it bother you that Diggs isn't traveling with the best receiver? You know, well, it wouldn't bother me if all my corners were all the same level, right? It's like that any one of them can face do whatever. That smack just took the took the air out of me, let alone what it might have done to the player there. But god dang, Leofow, what was you? He came with every bad intention you could think of on that hit. So here we go. All right, here we go. Oh, oh, who is that? Johnson? Is that his name? Johnson? I don't know the name. Was that Deontay? I should have checked who the receivers were. There we go. Deontay Banks on the coverage. All right. So right now Trayvon is in the well, he's in the slot because I think they're doing trips left, and so technically he's not really in the slot, but all the receivers are over to the left, so that's where he was. Nice, nice. And you see, Mike. Oh, that was nice, nice. All right, Micah making with the pressure. He had 20 yesterday. Yeah, not yesterday. It was Sunday. He had 20 Sunday, and then now he gets another one today. Holy cow, that was a crazy pass rush on Sunday from the Cowboys. Like they literally, I believe, collectively got more than 20 pressures on the quarterback. That guy is still feeling pressure right now today, Tuesday. He's still feeling pressure from Sunday. That is just crazy. I'm not sure I'm in agreement with the narrative that he's not a good quarterback. I'm like, I don't know what you're expecting from him right now. You know what I'm saying? This guy hasn't played a full season of football, let alone consistently played like 8, 9, 10 games straight of football in 4, 5 years.
He's going to let this one go deep.
Mm. Every single one of them was covered. I just said, let's just throw it up. I didn't not throw it up, but um, throw it out there and just hope for a bat down. Really is what I was hoping my receiver would just bat the ball down. Um, all right, here we go. Or we could do that. And I pushed it in. I did. I pushed it. Did I? I don't. Oh, it's Justin Simmons too out there. Gosh, you gotta be very careful with safeties you're picking on. But I can't recall if I threw it inside or it just drifted inside on the quarterback. That's something you got to be careful about too. Right now, Madden is the accuracy sucks for user quarterback. I think the CPU quarterback. I mean, we like I said, we took it down to like 10, and he was throwing dots still. We took it down to 5, and they still throw dots most of the time. There's and then so you only get that occasional overthrow like that, or occasional it down around his legs type throw. And but look at that dot right down the middle. It just there's nothing you can do about it. And then yep, Deontay Johnson. Um, it's 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 just kills me. But the thing is too, if I really and then here's the thing, and then I guess I have to admit if I was really truly bothered by it, right? Which I am, but it's just talk. And here's why I say it's just talk. Because I don't go in, set my game plan. So one, there's no cover three. Cover three is broken. Okay. Um, that is something we know. Cover three is absolutely broken. And I've watched it where I've seen the linebackers just run into each other and then just sit there and they can't get off of each other. They can't get off of each other in cover. And it's like, what in the world? So and then I'm like, why are you running into each other in the first place? That's not that's not your spot. That's not where you belong. And then they just they'll not even drift. They'll run right at each other, hit each other. I've seen it a couple of times, and it's like one time they were locked together and they just never got off each other, and the other one they did eventually, but it's like whatever space they were supposed to cover, right? They didn't, and you're like, so we know that the linebackers in cover three are broken. We know that corners tend to drift and not cover their man like they're supposed to. The problem is this is for the user team and not the CPU. So it's it's kind of an annoying thing because you're like, well, I'm supposed to just be okay with that, right? And the answer is heck no. Heck no, you don't you're not supposed to be okay with that. And then you shouldn't have to tweak settings to overcome it. And you shouldn't remove an entire piece of your playbook just so you don't have to deal with it, right? And that's exactly what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to take any kind of cover three formation or play out of your defensive playbook. So at least you don't have that. That's so it isn't a liability at that point. And then you, but that's poor. That and again, so we get into that conversation. It seems every single time that I sit down and play this is here, EA, these are the things that you're doing very poorly. And you're not moving very quickly or with any kind of concerted effort that I can visibly see, right? To fix and correct these shortcomings and these problems. And you know, it gets to be kind of old. It gets to be very old after a bit because it's like, no, dude, seriously, man, this isn't okay. Every year you put this out like this, where things have to be tweaked and fixed and redone, and it's like, what testing are you doing? And then, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. I understand, bro. I understand. This is an annual thing. You have to come out with a new game with new concepts, new things, new. You have to come up with a new iteration of the same game every single year, and you have to add to what you did the previous year. But somehow you focus in on what you want to add to it, but you forget, oh wait, we got to keep all the changes that we made throughout the last iteration in order for it to continue to work. Is that Aubrey? That is Aubrey. Aubrey with the fumble return. What in the world is going on here? Okay, that's broke. that is that is absolutely broken. You don't see that. You do not see that. I mean, and then I don't think Aubrey's that kind of athletic. Okay, he all right. He got a strong leg, but he ain't down there making those kind of plays and picking up a fumble. From I mean, he was there. He was ready to do some damage. I thought he was part of the tackle. Maybe I could rewind it, but I'm not. Oh shoot. Uh, See, and in there, I thought I was down, and then all of a sudden, he, I stopped. I even took my hand off the controller. I was just like, okay, he's down. I'm not gonna fight for any more yards. That is the first time, and then maybe there's something that happened with the update that I've been under duress and impacted by the defense lineman that I've seen my quarterback actually throw the ball. All right, throw the ball with any kind of distance on it. All right, let's see what happens here. So yeah. So again, like the message is, you know, what kind of experience do you want to provide? You know what I'm saying? I don't need you to remake the entire game every single year. What I need is a better version of the previous year's game, right? I don't need new bells and whistles. I need all the stuff that might have been broken in the previous year fixed. And I give you, and then new updated lineups and all that kind of stuff, right? Nice. Nice. So you do that for me, and then yeah. Now, granted, there's gonna be a lot of people that say, "Well, I'm not gonna pay 60, $70 for just an updated lineup." It's like, well, okay, then this is what we sit with. This is what we get. We get something that it takes until February before they get everything sorted and partially fixed. Because then February rolls around, there's still things that need to be fixed. But guess what? They're full go on the next iteration. And then what we don't realize that most games, there's like a 4 to 5 year cycle, right, between versions and iterations of them, right? The only game that comes out pretty much somewhat regularly, other than Madden and FIFA and the sporting games, are like Call of Duty comes out pretty much. It seems like every other year they got a new version of it coming out, right? And but that's it really, right? Everybody else just comes up with new like updated maps and packs and stuff like that. They don't come up with a brand new game every year. You can't unless you have like, and it is something they could do. They make enough money off of this game to do it. They just won't. Is you would have multiple teams working on a particular version of the game, right? Trayvon, Trayvon, what in the heck was that? Dude, that elbow, man. That elbow shoulder thing is just doesn't fly. Does not fly with me. What at all. Nice. Okay, you made up for it. Kinda. Not really. You're gonna have to do two more like that in order to make up for that one play. Yes, that's basically how it works. Or an interception. So three bat downs or an interception. Will Williams. Oh, oh, he's not gonna get the pick six, but he almost made up for you. There you go. There you go, Mr. Williams. What in the world are we watching right now? Okay, so and then back onto my soapbox. This is just what I'm saying is, if you had a road like teams, right? You got teams working on this year, right? You have a team still working on this year, fixing all the issues with this year. But then you have a dedicated team for the next iteration, and then a dedicated team for future iterations, right? That's a lot of people working on it. But guess what? That's the kind of thing you would need in order to keep coming out with fresh new product and material. And the problem that you run into is greed, corporate greed will not allow for that. That's not something you no, you can't, no. No. Because that costs a lot of money. It's not like they won't don't make enough to support that. They just don't make enough so that they are willing to let that off of the bottom line. There we go. So yeah, it's a it's just it's just funny to me. And then the problem is, and then no matter how much we complain and we whine and we hate this, seriously, anybody gonna stop playing Madden? Anybody gonna stop? No, I haven't. Again, there's only 1 year that I got so fed up, right, that I didn't buy it, but I got it for free. So I have not missed a year. You know what I mean? I've only had 1 year where I didn't buy it, and but I have not missed a year. And it's funny. And we're talking I haven't missed a year since 1990. Oh shoot. 90. Oh, I gotta be honest with you. I was late to the game. So I didn't buy my I think Madden has been around since 87, I want to say. I was late to the game. I wasn't playing Madden that early. That at that point. Not consistently. Oh, come on, Micah. So I think now when I went into the service in 92, yes, 1992. So yeah, 32 years ago is when I went into the service. That should tell you what we're talking about right now. So there we See, okay, okay. You just okay. Keep going. Don't let him catch you. Now we've made up. We made up for that shoulder thing that didn't work. Digs. Okay. All right. So yeah, 92 I went into service, and I think right around then, 93 was probably the first year that I actually played Madden. All right. And I have not missed a single year of Madden since. Right. And back then I was playing on PlayStation and then PlayStation 2, and then Xbox came out. Somewhere in between there, between PlayStation and PlayStation 2. I think Xbox came out. PlayStation 2, and then strictly Xbox until we finally got the PC version back in, I don't remember exactly, 19 or 20, 20, 21. And then um, the year I decided I wasn't going to play at all was the year that they did not update the PC version with the new version that they had put out on the Xbox. I was pissed. I'm like, are you freaking serious? You're gonna just put the same copy paste, and then it just so happens though I got the, Madden for free, so I at least did get it and play it. Right? I was pissed though. But not pissed enough to not accept the free version of it and to play it and still play it for over 1,000 hours. Um, but yeah, I hit 1,000 hours every year with Madden. You know, I'll be sitting there and tell you the truth, I have a TV, a monitor, and Xbox and a PC right next to the bed in my bedroom, and then my wife will watch TV and I'll be playing Madden while I'm watching TV with her. And she gets annoyed if I'm not paying attention, right? But it's gotten to that point where it's part of the routine, and then as a matter of fact, it's part of the routine where I have, in my house, I have my daughter. She's my 18 year old daughter. She has an Xbox Series X. I have an Xbox Series X, two Xbox Series S's. I also have probably three Xbox One consoles in my house. Um, I have a PS5. I have a PlayStation 4. I have a PlayStation 3. Um, we have tons, right? And then it's just to that point where you make it so that you don't miss the opportunity. Like I said, if I'm gonna sit here and watch a movie with you, guess what? I either got my laptop or you know a small monitor and Xbox connected to it. And then me, I used to play more PC games than console games. I started out playing console more, and then I probably migrated to PC late 2000s. So for the last 10, 15 years, uh, played more PC. And then all of a sudden, in the last year or so, I started, I moved, I started making the shift back to consoles. But everybody wants to throw that shoulder and not tackle. Is that where that's almost? I want to know if that's IRL because I'm bouncing off of a lot of shoulder hits, but nobody's actually wrapping up anymore. And it's like, well, I'm getting extra yards because you refuse to wrap up, which I'm fine with because I'm fine that the PC, the PC, the what do you call them? The CPU's doing that too, because it's like, yeah, go ahead, because I'm tired of seeing my guys do it. so, so I guess the way to fix it is to make the CPU do it more rather than stop the user team from doing it. That, that to me seems like that would be the better approach. Stop everybody from doing it rather than um so yeah. Um so yeah, there's my history, right? So yeah, I've been playing Madden forever. 30 oh shoot, has it been out 30 years? Yeah, 30 years now. So won't stop ever, probably. I don't know. I figure at some point my eyesight will get so bad that I won't be able to keep playing. You know what I mean? And then at that point, we'll have to transition to doing other things. I'm sure there's a ton of things around my house that my wife would rather me be doing um, than playing Madden. So um, let's see. Are we ready to let Peterson play, or are we going to just keep Trey? Oh wait, you can't do that. Can't do that. There we go. What down is it? Second and 6. There we go.
Here's second and 6.
Got the rookie in. Second and 6. We're in Chicago territory. Sanders is in the backfield. There we go. Boom. Oh. Oh, I was hitting the left. I was hitting the left stick, going to the right to say, "Come on, all right, first down, first down." And then I realized that said RS. You big dummy. That's oh. So yeah, there's no answer. So we will keep doing it. We will keep doing it.
This time they'll look to throw. Deep ball toward the end
I
zone.
know, I know. I'm being a butt on that one. I just, I just wanted to see. I wanted to see. He's got 6 receiving touchdowns as it is. Might as well give him another shot, right? Another chance. And probably not the smartest throw, not the smartest move. Um, gosh darn it. All right, here we go. Why are we throwing? Because it's second and 10. We put ourselves in a throwing situation. Who's out there?
Once more on second down.
I was hoping to get it in there before the safety got over. Yes. So no, no. I remember what happened last time. I'm not a glutton for punishment, nor am I wanting to just see the same result every time. Problem was we didn't get it in there. There was a small window of opportunity and we missed the window.
They'll set up to throw. No one open. He'll drop to his running back.
This guy can just convert the receiver and just dominate, man. I don't know. This guy just does it all. Look at that. Just hit that little slant route, take it, move it, take it on up, then turn right up the field. That's he's turned into one of my favorite players. Is what he's doing.
This drive has been methodical, but will they turn it into 6 points?
I don't know. Are you serious? I did not see the defender there. And then here we go. Oh shoot! I should have done the other one.
Down here for all defensive coordinators, Mike, is takeaways, field goals. That's what you're trying to do. And they were this close to coming away with it.
Oh, oh, just needed another second, man. Come on. I needed him to get a just yeah, not one more second. We had it. We had it. All right. I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think this is gonna happen the way we want it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Went just. I should have taken the slant. I should have taken the slant. Sometimes you feel like you should like point to them and say, "Hey, look at the scoreboard real quick. Just look, check out the scoreboard before you get out there and start showboating like that." It's like both sides of both sides of your team is losing, not just one. You know. There we go. All right. Come on, Micah. Third down. Make them pay. Oh, ooh. That was surprising there. One thing that they did kind of change that I actually like because I noticed just as far back, just as recent as Man 24, is when they started making a point. God dang it, couldn't get around the corner. When announcers started making a point and the game would advance, and it would just cut them off, and that was it. So if they didn't get the point out before the game advanced to the next thing, it was over. But here they actually do pick it up from right where he was talking about. Keep going, Sanders. There you go. Mm, I missed my window. I missed my hole. I ran to darkness on that one. That's for certain. All right, here we go. I knew I was throwing right into him. What the heck? I know. I know. I'm being very stupid right now. Just awful. It's like you want to tell them, like I said, you want to tell them. I don't know. If I was the coach, I'd be like, I know it's great to get an interception, whatnot, but you gave up 38 points. You're down by 24. What are you celebrating? That their second string quarterback came up and made a dumb throw? You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes it's like they need a reminder. It's like, dude, you're losing, and you're losing poorly, badly. Not even. Oh, Micah. Micah almost had that. Oh, and he's out now. Look, he's so distraught. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. Mm. Yes, Clark. That's why you're playing defense, bro. Those stone hands just ain't doing it. All right, here you go. Redeem yourself, Micah. Mozzie's getting a break. Oh, oh, so close. All right, all right. You know what? Yeah, we got to stop being stupid. Couldn't get up in there. Mm. Could not get up in there. Nice. Nice.
This is the point of the game, Mike, where you really can start leaning on your run game to
Mm-hmm.
this game out. You've got the lead. You're in the fourth quarter. They're able
He's
to
got a
come
little
back.
more juice than Zeke at this point. So we got him in instead of Zeke. I know we're just milking the clock, and we got to protect our this quarterback because apparently he still needs time, time in the oven. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I'm not sure that even Trey's as iffy as he has been from time to time. I don't think he throws both of those interceptions. One of them maybe, but not both. And that's the one thing. The It seems like the more green your quarterback is, the more likely the interceptor is going to intercept the ball. Now, Miles Sanders didn't want to come to us in free agency, so I just picked him up because I cut Dowdle. I was pissed at Dowdle. I was still pissed about that. And then for anybody that just coming in now, um, there were the team we were playing against, and I can't even remember which game it was, which is kind of ironic in a way, right? You're so mad at somebody, you cut them, but you can't even remember what game you're mad at them from. And so the other team, the opposing team, did it onside, and the ball went laterally, just straight down the line, right? So it didn't move. It didn't go to the required 10 yards that was required. And it's like the other team recovers it, and then I was like, Madden needs to fix that because one, that's just piss poor, really. No real team kicks the ball laterally down the line and then tries to recover it, right? And then, but what happened in this one time, see what happened was, uh, Dowdle, and then here's the thing: Dowdle and Dixon were on the recovery team for the Cowboys, so Dixon was there too, but Dowdle was the one that actually touched the ball before it was recovered by the kicking team. And I was so pissed about that. At first, I thought it was just EA being EA and not, that was allowed. But then as I kept watching it over and over again, I was like, are you kidding me? That was Donald. And he went up and touched it. And I was like, if he didn't touch it, Dixon might have touched it before one of the other players, the kicking team players, would have actually got a chance to touch it. And so it gave them the ball back. And then, of course, they scored on that. And I was like, that is so not okay. That. Sometimes I do think the interference is more so bad AI. And I'm going to say bad AI in the sense that it's calling interference when it really might not have been. And it could have been for a couple of reasons. One, it wasn't able to get the player, or that's a hard one to explain, right? The player's out of position because the AI doesn't know where to move the player, and the player just happens to be in the way, right? but he wouldn't normally be there. Are you kidding me? Williams is starting to come. Look at him, starting to become a ball hawk. What in the world? Okay, see now you're up at 30. Yeah, you can go do that, right? And you just stop them from scoring a touchdown, right? What in the world? So yeah, okay. So some of this pass interference is just bad positioning of the players, and it really isn't like if I'm standing there and then another player runs past me and just slightly taps me, and I've seen this, right, to get to the ball, and I'm not moving towards the ball, and I just slightly tap me. I see the flag, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? That was pass interference, right?" And and then the play actually happens 5-10 yards away. They just happen to run into the guy back to where the ball was going to be, and that's the flag is coming out, right? So it's kind of like anticipatory more so than an actual impin impede, and I'm going to say impediment, right, of them getting to the ball. Is more, well, we know that's where that player was going, but he ran and bumped this player, and now it's a PI because he eventually runs to go get that catch. And it's like, well, he bumped him right over there, and it didn't impede the player from getting back to the spot where the play was actually happening. But it's AI, you know what I mean? So it's not exactly PI when it should be. And then I could be, again, I could be wrong, but because that's just me looking at it going, he bumped him 10 yards ago and the ball was, and then he didn't impede him. So it just, it's like, we need to me, I look at it and I go, yeah, that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Somebody needs to go in there and say, okay, let me look at this and then decide, was that pass interference? And if I was, and then I gotta admit, I'm like thinking to myself, if I, had the foresight and look at it to rerun or rewind and look at the replay on that, I would be like, no, that's not. It's not letting me do anything. Oh shoot. No, we didn't get the first down. I was trying to get the first down. So, so I don't know. That was a long ramble to say that some of these PIs aren't really PI, but they become PI because of the receiver was contacted at some point during his route on his way to catching the ball. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, no, that wouldn't have been called. Especially if the receiver changed direction into the other player and that player still did not impede his progress or keep him from getting to the ball. You know what I mean? It just, he brushed past him to get to the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's like, real quick example. Um, both a receiver and defender are running down the field, right? And then the quarterback purposely underthrows the ball so that the receiver, who actually has half a step on the defender, but isn't completely going to be able to, the defender still can make a play on the ball. So what does the receiver? So the quarterback underthrows the ball. So then the receiver tries to adjust and come back to the ball. But now the defender is out of position, doesn't turn around, and runs into the receiver, and the receiver can't get back to the ball. He's impeding the progress or the ability of the receiver to get to the ball. That's pass interference. Another case in point. Receiver, defender, running down the field to get to the ball. Linebacker out there lost, just standing there in a zone or whatever. Receiver goes up and it comes back in on a sharp cut back towards the middle of the field, runs past the linebacker who isn't actually doing anything, and the player contacts him as he passes, but it doesn't impede his progress. But he contacts him as he runs to the ball, uh, right? And drops the ball, right? Or catches the ball, either or. The ref isn't going to call pass interference because the player was able to get to the ball and do whatever, right? And make a play on the ball. The linebacker was just in the way and just got nudged and again, it's not like he was in the way and the receiver couldn't get through him. He just ran past him and a contact was made. You know what I mean? Well, in Madden, that would be PI. And it's like, well, that's not really PI. You know what I mean? He didn't impede him from getting to the ball. He didn't initiate contact with the receiver. The receiver actually bumped him as he was running past him. You know what I'm saying? Bumped him as he was running past him. But Madden calls that PI. And it's like, yeah, no. No. So, again, that is, and it's interesting because remember, in order to get the defenders to play defense, right? The corners to actually play defense and run with the receivers, we turn defensive pass interference all the way down, right? So yet PI still happens on those kind of plays. And like I said, it's just I don't know, it's just to me being I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist because I'm not. Obviously, if I was a perfectionist, I would be rerunning and replaying all those and showing exactly here, look at this, right? And then I would not be 9 out of 10 not getting my goals set for the upcoming games, right? He only had 190 passing yards, 4 touchdowns though. And we clinch. We have clinched because the worst we can do is 12-5, and only Seattle can actually do better than us. These numbers are skewed based on look at Micah. He's up to 14 sacks now. Diggs at 9. They're skewed because they include our game but don't include all the games for this weekend for that week, right? As a matter of fact, um, I don't know where we. I don't. Yeah, we won't see it. I have to go to the league and look at the schedule there. But we're gonna advance it anyway to the next week, real quick. Look at it, and then know exactly what's gonna happen next time around. Yep, 12-1 with 12 straight wins after getting blown out by Kansas City to start the season. Yeah, it was ugly. All right, so we are number one, points scored. Number two, passing, right? And then number one, rush. We are the number one rushing team in the league. Are you kidding me? With the number one rushing defense. All right, look, okay, fine. We are 13th in scoring defense. We were 12th, so we did drop one. And yes, we are 32nd in pass defense. I like to think that's because all the teams have to, they can't run against us, so they have to throw, and we're winning, so they have to throw, right? And then there's poor CD Lamb, just unable to return to the team because of EA. No other reason. He's on the IR. He is uninjured, but he is not eligible to return, and he's been on IR for 13, 14, 15, this is 15. This is week 15. He's been on IR since the preseason, right? Is there any reason why he is not able to return to the team? Is there any reason why EA cannot remove the cap of one return from IR? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I mean, you can remove that logic easy. Oh, wait. You can also make it instead of 8 weeks to return, you can make it a minimum of three. You know, 3 weeks to return, right? Minimum of three instead of eight. So, yeah, you could follow suit just as easily as you got the new kickoff rules in. You could get the IR fixed too, right? You could also fix the practice squad. So, the fact that you don't isn't because you can't, it's because you choose not to. It's all about choices. These are the choices you're making. And these choices are the ones that we should take and should understand is this is what EA thinks of us and thinks of what we want and you know whether they believe we're correct in deciding that we want a better game, we want these things. And then it's about I can't even say the word prioritization, right? Where it's like, well, some things take more priority over others. Yes, and we know where your loyalties lie. Your loyalties lie not with your fans. And if you ever say it does, you are bold-faced lying. 100%. But I'm not talking about the developers. I'm talking about EA. I'm talking about the ones in the position to say yay or nay to this or that. The ones that are in a position to allocate resources. Okay? Those are the pencil pushers. They're not the developers. They're not the ones that actually create the game that we have before us. They're the ones that manage the money and where the hours and focus is spent. They are the ones that can that don't give a rat's booty about what we the players. But it's our fault that they don't care about us because despite ourselves, we are going to continue playing this game. We're always going to play it. They're always going to make sales. So, what they care about is how do we monetize everything that we can monetize? How do we make more money? How do we keep this brand going and keep people engaged? The problem is they miss out on the simple point of that. They don't understand that the more satisfied and the happier your fan base is with the product you present them, the more engaged they are, right? And they don't understand that you have two sects of folks buying the game. Yes, there's those guys out there that are going to spend money on packs. They're totally into MUT, totally into the frivolous, just the awful stuff, the awful parts that us franchise players that do this and love to play this every year, right? The awful stuff that EA presents in Madden, right? And but those are the ones that draw the most money. You know what I mean? Those are the ones where they make all their money from. So those are the ones that are going to be appeased, and that's the one they work for. That's why they come up with these stupid little extra things in Madden. The yard and all that other stuff that they put in there that to me is frivolous and is a point and is a waste of time. But someone else, right, can be right there on and that's how it is. On this side says, no, I love that. I love that mode. Finally. right? Because they get tired of playing the same thing over and over again. And then to me, it's like, okay, go ahead. I don't get into that. I don't do that. I don't even play head to head online just because people are annoying. And truth, people are annoying. The type of people you face online, they just I can't play against them, most of them, right? And it's not like a lot of them. Probably the majority of them are cool people and probably be fun to play with. But you get that one, two, three people that you run into that just make it a completely bad experience. And then I don't know what they've done, but remember the ones that rage quit and just quit in the middle of the game? It's like, really? Really? And it's like, you get fed up with dealing with people like that to the point where you're like, you know what? I just don't play it anymore. I don't do it anymore. Last time I played online, I lost. Yeah, I've lost more times online than I've won. And that's just the way it is, you know. And then I played a buddy of mine online actually, and then he beat the crap out of me. It was Minnesota against the Cowboys, and of course, yeah, you know what I mean. I ran for over 150 yards against him though, but I couldn't throw. I couldn't throw to save my life. But he couldn't stop me from running. But guess what? After a bit, all you gotta do is just stop me a couple of times, right, on significant points in the game, and you can't throw and you make a mistake and then boom, interception, and I couldn't stop him to save my life. You know, I lost like I don't know what it was. It was like 31 to 17 or something like that. Yeah. So it wasn't, like I didn't get like 31-17 is bad in my opinion, right? So it wasn't pretty. But yeah, no, it's just so yeah, until we decide, well, we're not going to take it anymore, and I don't think we're ever going to be at that point. I really don't. I think we're going to continually play. It is a huge game that doesn't have to change. That only has to change at their leisure, right? It was a miracle when we did the review bomb and really woke them up, but even then, we still didn't follow through, right? And nobody, we never boycotted. And then what I feel bad because there's this soft drink guy and this other guy, and I know I mentioned them before, but they do nothing but just bash EA videos and bash Madden videos. And I'm like, you guys really hate you hate Madden, don't you? But the problem is they get tons and tons of views because of it. And it's like, yeah, but it's like you don't offer anything in return though. It's like, well, tell Madden how they can do it better, you know? Sometimes they do, but a lot of times it's just bashing them. And then the thing is, I don't want to myself is you don't want to live in the past. Like Madden 12, right, had this, or Madden 08 had this in it, right? Yes, I do remember a time when Superstar Mode, you could do commercials and you actually had to do them, right? You had to say a few lines and then it swayed one way or the other if you did well or not, right? And then you had other things too, And then, yeah, I remember back in NCAA 14 or NCAA 13 when you actually had to go to class and take exams, those were cool. But right? Obviously, with the changes in, and then again, the devs didn't want to go to Frostbite, right? But the executives wanted them to go to a different engine that would allow for more monetization. You see what I'm saying? So they went to a different engine to allow for more monetization. And then, they have struggled over the years to bring back as much of what made Madden great in the first place, right? The problem is like I said, prioritization, right? You have to set priorities. You have to, like, if you got 50 things that you got to fix, but you only got time to fix 20 of them, you only the top 20 things on your list are going to get fixed while the other 30 are just going to hang out until you can get around to them. And that's just the way of life, and that's just the way they do it there, right? And then so it's really a matter of, well, who's making decisions on the top 20? Who's making that decision? And then again, it's like, well, when we make this a decision, what's attached to it, right? What's the monetary value that we bring back to the game? And it's not, what I mean by monetary value that we bring back to the game is how much can we monetize that, right? And then you'll notice, if you see that against all the things that you have to get done, what you're seeing is, well, the things that bring more money into the game, help monetize the game more, they seem to creep right on up there into that top 20 very quickly. So it's an unending losing battle for us pure gamers that just want franchise to work and want the old superstar mode back. But you have to contend with the uh like I said, with the pencil, not the peanut counters, the guys that actually count the money and what and the decisions they make, right? So it's a moot point to blame the developers, and EA is 100% to be blamed for any shortcomings, I believe, in the game. But I will say this though, when you do put a product or a piece or a new addition to the game, not QA in it, and not ensuring that it works completely the way as it's supposed to, I put that on the devs, because that is your job. Your job is to do that, and then also to ensure that you have a usability and a QA team that's going to catch all the bugs that seem to just slip right through the cracks, and taint the product that we get. And you don't do that properly. You don't. And then that's on you. But then again, there are decisions made as to how big of a team you can have for QA, how much time you have for QA, and also usability. How much usability are you doing? And then what kills me though is, what you do is you bring a lot of influencers, folks that, streamers and stuff like that. You bring them down and you have them play or watch play, and it's like, but it's such a small piece and it's such a controlled environment that they can't come back and tell you, well, this is broken, unless it is clearly broken when they see it, right? But they don't see everything. And so they're not sitting here and they don't get to see how cover three is just completely total trash, right? And they don't get to see how, because they don't see enough snaps where they look at AI and they go, "Oh my God, did that guy just run into that other guy and they couldn't figure out where they're supposed to be?" Right? Pathfinding isn't that, is there's an issue there. And then it's like, oh, I remember Madden back in the day used to have this one issue, and it was just funny because I always thought it was ironic, but they used to use, okay, so when you're dealing with databases, when you're dealing with coding and you're dealing with certain numbers, you have variables, right? You have ints, you have floats, you have, floats are decibels, ints are like whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then it gets more complicated than that. But back in the day, if you decided I was going to use this for my number, right? It would only go up to 255 places, right? So it only allow you to count up to 255 or 254, 0 to 254 or 1 to 255. And if they used to use that to hold as a placeholder for your return yardage for interceptions. And I always thought it was hilarious because, back in the day, you get a returner, you return like two or three interceptions for touchdowns, right? Which, I mean, until last season, you didn't really see that happen a lot in real life. But in Madden, it could happen quite a bit, right? And then so you had a defender with 8 receptions, and all of a sudden you look at it and he's got 3 yards, 3 return yards. Right? And you're like, how's he only got 3 return yards? And it was because the counter rolled over, right? Because it could only go up to 255 or 254, right? And as soon as you got that high, it didn't know what to do, so it just started counting back again. So now you got three. So you got 3 return yards on 8 receptions, interceptions, and you're like, does that seem right? That's not right. Because then you look and you see the guy's got 3 return touchdowns, and you're like, wait a minute, that's impossible. You know what I mean? So like he had all three of his return touchdowns were a yard, right? And I mean, literally, he would have to pick one of them off in the end zone, really, just by happenstance, right? It's like, dude, you threw the ball and I picked it off in the end zone. You know, like you were thrown out in the flat and I just picked it off right there, and you were at your 1 yard line, you know, right there. So, um, yeah, it's and it took years, right, for that to change, and it's like, huh, but it would be the same for interception. Fumble returns, yardage was the same, but you didn't really run into that problem that much. But I'm like, but see, that's like, you don't have anybody that's investing that kind of time and effort into testing and playing the game to run across something like that. So it just stays there until something changes and they decide, well, we're going to use a different, I can't even think of what it's called right now. But they'll use something different to hold that place, right? You know, and then I think coding itself, and then just the upgrades and everything like that over the years, changed it all together. So, but yeah, that was this. Like I said, this is more than 10 years ago when I used to see this. It was way well more than that. So those are things. And so today we're just, and again, we're sitting here, we're playing a game that, I had fun though. This is the first. And then, of course, people are going to say, of course you had fun. You just beat them 45-14. I'm like, yeah. Like, shut up. Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? But that's because my defenders were playing as like I'm expecting them to play. You know what I mean? Kevin Williams was finally 2 interceptions, right? And then Diggs, an interception, pick six. Yes. And then Micah in there pressuring the quarterback. He only had one or two sacks, right? But he's in there pressuring the quarterback. That's what I'm expecting to see every single week watching them play. The outcome is going to be the outcome, right? You can't always, beat another team 45-14, and that's not what I'm anticipating. What I'm anticipating is Diggs is going to be a nightmare to throw against. Micah is going to pressure the quarterback every single chance he gets. If I see that, then I'm not there's not a problem there. The animations still need work. I get sick and tired of seeing this little shoulder thing. It just irks me to no end, right? Very few wrap up tackles. But we saw more of it on the CPU side, right? CPU doing it, and my guys weren't just flopping over, going down like that, right? And I'm like, okay, so it's fair, right? It's fair because it's happening both ways. Not that it's happening just, the CPU, they just come over and they hit a shoulder and boom, and the guy's down. No, they hit a shoulder and the guy's still doing what the CPU guys do, running for more yards if possible. And it's like, well, yeah, because you got to wrap. You can't be just coming in for a hit stick tackle every single time. Um, I threw 3 interceptions. So did the CPU. We're fair, right? Except my interceptions were, just throwaways, really. It didn't impact the game. Caleb Williams, his interceptions were very impactful to the game. So, again, as long as it's fair and it's back and forth and we're seeing the same thing, right? Then we can live with it. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying we can live with it, and then yeah, I can have fun. I can enjoy it, right? We saw a lot of good things today, and so yeah, so and I've gotten to that point where I'm just kind of we're at that point of complacency, kind of too, or not complete, but kind of where we just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? As long as we can figure out how to get around what those things, we just deal with them, and we figure out and try, work our darndest to just get around the things that are really, really egregious, right? That are really bad. And I think that's where we find ourselves right now. And then when we look at the stats real quick, just going in here, because like I said, it's cool. I had a ball today. I literally did have fun playing this, and I'm glad you guys were here. I mean, I did ramble quite a bit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do the play by play like you hear other people do. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear play by play. I'm going to go watch Hurricane, or TNJ, or Lord Luigi. If I want to hear some good, play by play stuff. But I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna play the game, and I'm gonna talk to you, and then take you down memory lane a couple of times, or I'm going to ramble on and get on my soapbox and say what talk about how EA needs to fix this and fix that. But when we look here, you know, poor guy, he's got one touchdown and two interceptions, and both in that game. 3 of 9 passing. He's not doing so well. You know what I'm saying? But those two were my fault, not his. And then we got, Sanders actually was having a pretty decent game. He really was. You know what I'm saying? He actually had a pretty decent game. I think he had like 40, 50, maybe 60 yards in that one game alone. Um, Look at this. Look at this. You can't get. Look at that is just crazy. And we got 4 games left in the season to get Wilbin and Tolbert both 12 catches. They need 12 catches. Well, he needs 11. Tolbert needs 12. That is our goal on the season. Is that I think they're supposed to both receivers are going to have 72 or more catches on the season. So 12 catches each. So as long as they don't get hurt, I think they're going to hit it. 3 catches per game. Our leader in sacks. Oh, BB, right? So and Tyler, man, up the middle. And then Leofau is just turning into kind of he is that bro now in the middle of the field for us, right? 8 TFLs also. No sacks, but he's got an interception. And then our leader in TFLs, Micah Parson. Look at that, 19. Okay, that's pretty decent. But look at the sack numbers, right? Remember, we were back when we first got on his kick. He only had 7.5. And then he has really kind of turned. I mean, he's only gotten 6.5 since then, but that's 6.5. I think over like a 3-4 game period, we can take that. We can deal with. His 7.5 was in like 8 games. So yes, and then now he's on pace in what? We're 12-1, 13 games. He's over a sack a game, so he's on pace to hit 19, 20 sacks for the season. You got no complaints, arguments from me, right? He's definitely on pace to surpass 17, right? So it's somewhere around 18, 19, possibly 20 sacks for the season. That's defensive player of the year numbers, right? That keeps you up there right now with Lawrence. Can you believe it? He's got 17 sacks. Holy cow. Right? That man has never had 17 sacks. In 11 seasons, he's never had 17 sacks. He goes to the Lions, and what happened? 17 his first year there. What in the world? Madden, come on now, right? So, yeah, that's just crazy to me, right? And then look at Mozzie. Mozzie, seven sacks, man. Osa, 11 sacks, right? So, and then Nealon, I mean, come on now. This is his second year. He does need to pick it up a little bit, but I think the problem, really, the issue is the reason he doesn't have as many sacks is because 18 sacks are right here in the middle of the line. 20 and a half sacks are right there in the middle of the line. And then you got Holt, who lines up both on the outside and inside. So technically, we could say 20, 21 sacks are right there in the middle of the line. He's just not getting there before they do, right? They have a more direct line to the quarterback. And then when he's getting there, guess what? Micah's probably already there. So I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I don't think I'd pay him 20 plus million based off of these numbers. But look at his TFLs. 15 TFLs. So he's impacting plays, right? And then look, Williams, two interceptions. He's look at him, look at him. He's starting to show. And then Diggs is playing Diggs football. He's playing like Diggs. Diggs is playing like Diggs. I cannot be mad about that. So we're seeing things start to turn around, them start to play the way they're supposed to play. Where, you know what I mean? We have to put the whole thing on there about, well, yes, they're last in the league in pass defense, but that's because, well, they're winning, right? And teams generally are throwing most of the second half against them. So, but there's been a lot of times when we've gone in and we've seen 150 to 200 yards in the first half against them pass wise. So it still needs work. Still needs work there, right? Um, so yeah, I'm not mad. Look at the 13 PBUs by Williams up here. Four interceptions, 13 PBUs. I ain't mad at that. I can't be mad at that, or shouldn't be. Um, Now, I will say this: I did get rid of Zim's most one of his favorite safeties. Zim really liked Wilson, so you know. But Wilson was getting up there in age and in price, and technically, it's very rare that I re-sign a player that's 30, 31 years old. I don't do it unless I really like the player or they're really performing at a high level. And DeMarcus Lawrence didn't have double-digit sacks when I let him go. So no, it wasn't like he had 16 sacks last season and now he's got 17 this season. No, he's like more than doubled what he had last season for sure, right? Like he wasn't a world beater, or I would have definitely said, okay, well we can do one more year with you or two, because I have had playthroughs where I've gone in and then said, okay, yeah, we're gonna hold on to him and let him retire. Part of me, if he retires a Cowboy, I wouldn't be mad about that. But again, it's about price. Can we afford it? I just don't know. Right? When you have to sign Micah, you can't sign Lawrence too, and that's the thing. And just speaking of which, if we just go back here and take a look, right? We got 4 weeks left in the season. Come on over here, real quick. Uh, Players ready to negotiate. Micah is going to be 27 million, right? I believe it's like 27 million. Yeah, 27 million. Fergie, just under 10 now, or under 11. So 10.6, 10.7, right? Their interest, Micah's interest, we could probably get him at 25 instead of 27. maybe even 24. Fergie, maybe we can get him at 10. But then once we do those two, 24 and 10, then we might be able to get Damone. But guess what? We won't get Tolbert. We won't get Edmonds, Griffith. We'll be just trying to bring in rookie, people off of the waiver wire, right? We've already said we're not going to take the Deontay Banks's option. I expect it to be higher by the end of the season, but that really depends where his overall goes. Mozzie, he just keeps improving, so it has gone up. Um, so it still could end up being higher. Um, but I think we could probably do a deal with Mozzie, and that might be the route to go. I just don't know. I don't know if he's going to be looking for 20 million, right? So that's something we have to keep thinking on, right? Um, but yeah, look at that. Look at that. So the optimum resign would be 5 years, 24 million a year. So what's that? 5 years, 120, right? That would be a good one. I might even try to get it to 6 years, so that way we don't have to worry about it again until he's 32, right? And I just don't know if he'll sign for that long. But that's where we're lying. That's where we're at, right? And then Fergie, I don't know, man. I just don't know. But if I sign these three, I got no cap left. I got no cap left. So the key is I better have all the players that I want right now, right? We already made a decision. There's no way we were going to be able to sign Bland, so we traded him, right? That gives us another year with Mozzie and Deontay Banks. We got one more year with them. And then we got to figure out who's next up for signing. And did we replace them? Because that's the key, right? Is like, well, we got to rely solely on the draft, but then that's what all teams got to do. So, but that's where we're sitting, and where does Trey go, right? How does Trey end the season, and does Trey Lance all of a sudden get into? Because right now he's 80 plus overall. Right now, does he get into the high 80s, possibly low 90s if we keep this going, right? And if that's the case, now all of a sudden we got Trey Lance as a franchise quarterback, right? And we got him signed up for the next 4 or 5 years at a pretty decent price, for a franchise quarterback. 20, I think we got him at like 20, 20 something 20 something a year. So we were able to get him. So now all of a sudden we got a 89, 88, 89, 90 overall quarterback at just 20 something a year, 25 a year, something like that. I don't remember what we were paying him. But when you look at team, get wrong one right here real quick, and then I'll let you go because this is running way over. But when we look at our salaries, there we go, that one. So here's all our guys, right? Lamb's got 6 years remaining, right? We know this. We signed him at a better price than what the Cowboys actually did get him for. But when we go like this with the guys that have years remaining, and we look at their contracts, we got Bell. He's at 6 more years. Ariza 6 more years. We got Lance. And look what Lance's cap hits are: 20, 20 and a half, 21.5, 22.5, 23.7, and then 25 in 2029. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 5 of those years. So if he keeps right now he's a 78, so his motivation has got him in the 80s. But if we get him into the 80s, right, and somehow now all of a sudden we got a pretty decent quarterback for only 20 million a year, and then this is our cap this year, but then next year Look who our big cap hits are: Lamb and Lance. And then the final year with Martin. And Martin might retire, so we might not have that hit. But then look who Trayvon kicks in, and then Terrence. But we might actually be able to get out of that next year. Get out of Terrence's contract next year and trade him. And I'd be happy with just a wash. Right now, the savings right now is 13.3 and the penalty is 12. Next year that's going to be significantly better, right? And so next season I'd be fine trading him because I don't want to pay that, right? And then this is the final year with Tyler. Next season will be the final his, and we have accepted his fourth year option. You see, and then you got Osa, right? We extended Osa, but are we going to go past 2027? So we got him this season and then the next two, right? And then you got Marquise, right? It's going to be around for a while, and so same with Odiembo, right? And then Zeke, we got him next year, but I'll end up probably cutting him next year. Well, we got him 2 more years, but I'll probably end up cutting him next year and taking the hit, to tell you the truth. But I need the space at that point. And then you got Brandon Aubrey, right? And then I don't like paying this much for a kicker, but gosh dang it, you got for for a kicker to get a hit 60-yard field goals consistently. You, you do you pay that, it's just like, yeah, because I'm gonna use that, right? And then we got Juwan Briggs, who's actually, and I signed him because he is turning into a very good defensive lineman for us. And if we keep working with him, he might end up replacing Mozzie at some point because Mozzie, we might not be able to re-sign him after next season. So, but that is where we're at with that, right? And then McFadden, he's decent and he's not overly priced, but he can step in and play any of the positions I need him to. So there you have it. And then there's Mozzie, right? Technically, we got him next year, and then none after that. We could, but I don't want him for $18 million in 2027. So next year, it behoove us to get a deal done, right? Cooper Rush, next season to be his last. Tyler Guyton, he's another one that we're going to have to sign, right? And we're going to have to decide on his option and or whether we just decide to sign him, right? And he is proving to be everything that we were hoping him to be. Melifonwu, he is a decent bridge player, right? Kevin Williams, right? So we got him for 3 more years, and then we so we don't have to worry about him right now. TJ Bass, we got so now we got line depth right there. We got our punter already cinched in there, and then we got our safety depth. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. So the key though is, yes, we are in perfect position. And in truth, we are actually in a position right now that we can make and pull the trigger on all three of these guys. All three we could pull the trigger on, I think, and bring them all back and bring them back, right? And I would not be mad about it. I will tell you that what's funny to me, and then I'll say this as we call it a day. Damone Overshone balled out Sunday, and I'm sitting there going like, man, I would love to still have him on this team. You know what I mean? It's like, because if he could ball out like that, right, he is going to be something. And I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? It was just that's just what happens, right? And then because I know, and in just complete full transparency here, I will probably run another 10 to 20 more leagues. You know what I mean? Playthroughs on my own personal time with probably like another five more with the Cowboys, picking different points in the season to start from and see how we go right there, right? And then I'll pick, more. I will definitely pick a team in week 5 that's started out 1-3 or 0-4, and say, can we turn things around? And I might even turn that one into another series like this. So that for sure is going to happen. I am going to do that. And so the key is, can we turn things around? And if not, position ourselves and rebuild for next season. And that to me will be the thing, right? And then it's really dependent on, well, who's doing what. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the fun part of Madden and going through the season. That's why I'm hoping that the update they just did, they do, and then we get, and if not, we at least get another update before week 10, right? So give us a week update at week 5, week 6, right? So I can go in there, start a team there, and then say, okay, here's our team. The season hasn't gone the way we've thought it would, but we still have a chance, right? And then I know at week 12 or 10 or whenever, late in the season when they do it, the season is pretty much written off. It's time for a coaching change. Here's what we got. So those are two series that I know I'm going to do just because, that's what Madden presents to you. And I'm going to do it anyway in my own free time. Might as well record it when I do it and see if anybody wants to watch it. So, for those of you guys that sit back and actually take the time to watch and everything, remember, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely helps me out by subscribing. Let's keep this going. And if you like and subscribe, that gets it presented to more folks, right? And get more people out there to see this content. And then we get more views. And then that tells me, yes, this content is good. Because I actually use my view count to tell me if something is working or if it's not, if I need to change it or do I just need to leave it alone, right? And then that's a lot of I'm not as stubborn as most, right? It's like if nobody's watching, I'm not just not going to keep banging my head against the wall, right? So it's like if I can't get the view count to start going up, then it's like, well, you got to go find something else to present. So that's how we do it. All right, guys, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.